All right, what is going on, guys? How we doing today? I wanted to go through this video. I, um, I'm always trying to work on myself, trying to better myself, and yeah, the lens of Darius has helped me understand a lot of the truth. But I still look at other aspects and other people. I listen to other people. And one of the guys I stumbled upon that I really like is Chase Hughes. So he's got 1.4 million subscribers. So you might have heard of him. You might not have. He talks a little bit about what he kind of does in this video. And I just wanted to go through this video. This one is about methylene blue, which is something he will also talk about in here because he was having seizures and it's helped his brain function, it's helped his energy, it's helped his brain fog. And so my daughter is in a vegetative state downstairs and she's on too many meds to start this methylene blue, but it really sparked my interest when I started hearing about the benefits of what this is. And I decided to start taking it and trying it for myself. And I'm only a couple days into it, but I've noticed a huge difference, and it really has lifted the brain fog. And I didn't even really know I had brain fog until you get out of it and you feel lighter and you feel kind of above it, but you really don't even understand that you're in the fog until you get out of it. So it's kind of a hard thing to pin down, but I wanted to go through this video because I thought it was interesting, and hopefully you get something out of it. So here we go.
Out of my brain.
Let's see here. Let's start over. Up a little bit.
This is the inside of my brain. And this is a blue substance which might have saved my life. And I'm going to show you how all this happened and how it might save the life of somebody that you know. 9 months ago, my brain was eating itself alive and I was having about 9 seizures a day.
That's crazy.
There were periods I didn't even know who my wife was. This is my family. And this is my new daughter, Hannah. She is 7 months old now. Hannah was born on Christmas Eve in 2023. My memory was failing so fast that I slipped into a depression. I cried when no one was around, just realizing that if this kept going, my own family would become strangers that I didn't recognize. And the seizures almost always came with a huge dose of amnesia. So I wasn't fully aware that I was having them. And I find out later that people had been seeing me have these seizures for about 3 years. And I'd been studying neuroscience and neuroendocrinology for years, so my family assumed I would know if something was wrong. I was diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy with a possibility of something else called mesial temporal sclerosis. And when this happened, I got prescribed a drug to treat the symptoms, to stop me from having seizures. And I asked about drugs that could reverse the damage to my brain or drugs that could stop the underlying cause of the seizures. And I got nothing.
And that's what they do, right? These drug companies are to keep us products, keep us a customer for life. So they're not actually treating the real problem or helping. Again, this is not medical advice. I'm not telling you to go buy methylene blue and start doing it for yourself. I'm just saying if you're not taking any antidepressant medications and you feel like you need a kickstart, you might try this.
The prescription I was given had a long list of side effects, but the most common side effect of that prescription was seizures, actual seizures.
And that's where with my daughter who's downstairs in the vegetative state, like I was just like, I know these drugs they're not doing what they really need to do, but I don't have the authority to necessarily change it. So So yeah, I feel the same frustration that he had about the drugs.
Was desperate and scared and spent some time crying and praying to God to help me with all of this. And I read through about 1,000 research papers. I watched 100 videos on brain health and ways that we could potentially stop what's going on and hopefully reverse all the crap that was happening. And in the midst of all of this, I'm terrified. I won't be able to work or support my family. I'm setting up life insurance. I had no idea who's going to feed my kids and take care of my family if my brain keeps just essentially eating itself. There was no way to tell if my brain was about to collapse like some Jenga tower. And during all this, I'm having to still be on TV, film YouTube videos, and essentially just pretend like everything is totally fine. So
I know that feeling.
Later, I'm on a plane to Los Angeles.
Well, not exactly.
About a week later, I'm scrolling through YouTube shorts about brain health. And this doctor comes up talking about neurology who sounded like a California surfer dude. So I kind of dismissed it. I swiped it up to go to the next video. But then I processed right then what he was saying, what I just heard. He was talking about mitochondria, the very thing that I was looking to fix inside of my brain. So I tried to swipe back and I hit the home button on accident. And obviously you can't go back if you're swiping. It took me 2 days to find out who this doctor was after not being able to get back to that video.
Sometimes mitochondria can be like an old car where it's producing way too much oxidation, and this would be like a dysfunctional mitochondria.
Meet Dr. John Lawrence. He is the guy from the video that I could not find. When I tracked him down on YouTube, he was talking about this stuff called methylene blue. And he was saying all this incredible stuff that made me think, if this stuff is so powerful, why don't we hear about it? Why didn't my doctor tell me about it? Why isn't everyone taking this? And I started hearing this unbelievable stuff about methylene blue. I genuinely can't believe. And it's literally a blue dye that was created in the 1800s to dye fabrics. I was hearing it was the magic bullet of medicine. In fact, I learned that the term.
And another thing is that if people are skeptical about it or not talking about it and the media is not running with it, it's to throw you off. It's like, that's usually when my ears perk up and be like, there might be something to this.
Magic bullet was first spoken in history to describe methylene blue, and it's been used to treat disease since about 1890. And if you look it up, you're going to really find out why they call it a magic bullet. But at this point, if you don't know what mitochondria are, let me give you a super basic rundown. So mitochondria are little microscopic power plants inside of every cell in your body, and they're responsible for generating electricity that fuels every single function of the body. And these little organelles are absolutely crucial to our health because they convert nutrients into ATP. This is the energy that powers everything in your body, from muscle movement to activity up in your brain. And almost every chronic disease, from like diabetes to neurodegenerative disorders, can trace its roots back to mitochondrial dysfunction. But mitochondria is also the beginning of health. All right, so let's go back to Dr. John Lawrence. I've been watching this guy on YouTube now daily to learn about the brain and methylene blue and melatonin and even red light therapy. And I decided to track him down. And
then my daughter has a whole red light therapy kit too. So I've been sitting in there with her because I guess the methylene blue helps you absorb the red light therapy, which is supposed to increase the energy in your body too. So again, I just started taking it. I'll let you know if the side effects stop, or, because it's like, maybe this is the placebo effect. Like, I believe in this so much that I'm actually feeling the results. But I didn't have that belief going in the last couple of days. And there's been something that I felt lighter. I felt more energy. I felt like I've been above the clouds. It's kind of hard to put into words exactly, but there's something that's changed because of it.
Started texting a lot, I invited him to talk to my VIP clients that I coach every week about these incredible molecules. And then I just decided to go see Dr. John at his clinic in Sarasota. And I thank God that I did. It's the middle of August, and I'm supposed to have an appointment today with Dr. John Lawrence. It's taken a while to get an appointment. He sees a lot of people, and my appointment is in like 20 minutes from right now, and I'm going to take you in there with me. I'm not sure what to expect. He is a chiropractor. He is a neurologist. He's got a lot of stuff under his belt, and he does some alternative approaches to brain stuff. We'll see what happens.
Just give me some history. How did this all start?
So this condition, as far as I know, started in 2019. But I was sitting in front of my parents and I just blacked out for like a minute and a half. I had amnesia for that event, and then I had another 100 more over the next year. And my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife, so she knew that I had postgraduate certifications in neuroendocrinology and medical neuroscience and radiology and all this stuff. So she assumed that I would go see a doctor, but I didn't remember any of it. In 2022, I recorded it on video and I was able to watch it, and I said, I have temporal lobe epilepsy. So I'm thinking maybe the origin of some of this is head trauma.
Yeah.
So I've done 9 deployments, explosions, all that kind of stuff. I don't have any front teeth in the top left. These are all fake.
Is the bridge straight across the midline?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Broken nose. I can see your nose still
A few times.
How's your breathing through the nose? That feel restricted?
I can only breathe out of one nostril.
Which one?
This one here, the right side.
So this is what's really interesting, and I get into depth in my my endonasal book about like what happens because your parasympathetic nervous system is going to be more run by the right brain, right? So the left nostril is going to be more parasympathetic. So if you're not breathing and that air isn't going through there, you're not activating different systems that are going to keep your autonomic nervous system running, which is going to be like, perfusing the brain. Because so what?
That's kind of crazy. I had no idea that the air intake from one nostril worked on the other. So it's like, it's just crazy how complex these bodies truly are.
What concerns me, so this is supposed to move. You never cross the midline.
Wow.
So literally, so we may see some really positive changes with you, even with this apparatus in here, but then you might not hold on to it. And it might not be until we get this
split.
Mm-hmm. So it can move. Tongue way out, look down to your right, stretch the eyes down to the right. Okay, good. Beautiful.
That does not look fun.
A deep breath in the nose. Notice all that space that's opened up?
Oh, yeah. So all this stuff I would have scoffed at was actually proven science, and they don't teach this stuff in medical school. I learned more about my brain health than I thought was even possible. And I got really seriously introduced to the proven power of red light therapy and how red light gets absorbed and then used by methylene blue in our bodies. And it's proven to help with everything from pain and inflammation to dementia and brain issues and even hair loss. And I'm actually embarrassed to say that I thought all this was fringe science. I really thought that. And I didn't think I'd find thousands of studies and a mountain of very serious research here. It's day 3. I just finished my second full day with Dr. John. And yesterday, obviously, as you saw, there was some amazing stuff. I just got a notification on my screen. My Uber's going to be here in 2 minutes. So I'll see you there. Let me give you a tiny sample of what I heard about methylene blue. It supercharges our brain's energy, our memory, our focus, our cognitive performance. And it doesn't just sharpen short and long-term memory, it also balances out your neurotransmitters. It can reduce depression and anxiety, which makes it a hugely powerful mood stabilizer. And it shields our cells from something called oxidative stress, which is the cause of disease. And it promotes overall health and life longevity, while it also boosts mitochondrial efficiency to increase our energy levels. But it didn't stop there. Methylene blue crosses the blood-brain barrier to give massive support to your neurons. It's like nothing I've ever seen before, and it's proven to protect against neurodegenerative conditions like mesial temporal sclerosis. And I always thought that if something could save my life, I would hear about it from a doctor, or it would be extremely popular. Methylene blue isn't sexy. It's not expensive, and the patent on this stuff expired a long time ago. So it's easy to make, and it's able to make a money for the factories that make it, but the big companies, not so much. And I realized the doctors that I've been talking to aren't lying. They just don't get education on this stuff, which is seriously well-reviewed and well-documented for like over 100 years. It was all too good to be true. And then it went crazy. I listened to Dr. John talk about melatonin in doses of 200 milligrams. I genuinely thought melatonin was a 2 milligram little pill that you get at the drugstore for sleeping. Man, was I wrong. I had no idea. It's a sleep aid. It regulates sleep-wake cycles. It's an insanely powerful antioxidant.
I have not done anything with the melatonin part of it yet.
It's a huge immune system booster that makes us fight infections, but it even helps battle chronic diseases. It reduces inflammation all over the body, which is the root of almost all disease. And it can boost your mood and reduce anxiety, and it can help with managing serious pain, even helping with brain repair.
And that's why I want my daughter on it, is because I need her brain to start repairing itself.
Carrying a human brain. And on top of all of this, taking high doses of melatonin doesn't change how your body makes its own melatonin. There's no crash, there's no rebound. And what I just described about melatonin is like 3% of what it's capable of doing. I tried the melatonin, it was a suppository, because taking it orally means the liver is going to destroy almost all of it in something that we call the first pass effect. The next day, I woke up feeling better than when I was in my 20s, and my mind and memory were perfect. And I thought it was a fluke until about 3 weeks went by, and I went from 9 seizures a day to zero. My kids were going to have a father, and I shared this with people with severe brain disease and dementia, and fibromyalgia, and amyloidosis. I'm not a doctor, but it seems to be radically helping people. And everybody that I've talked to about this has come back and told me their doctors have never seen recoveries like this before. And the brain absolutely can rewire itself, which is exactly what I needed. And I did my first therapeutic psychedelic experience in California, where it's legal. I ingested about 4 grams of psilocybin mushrooms, and I had the most spiritual experience of my entire life.
And in college, I did the magic mushrooms as well. And it was one of the most profound experiences I've ever had, because it like all the barriers break down, and you're allowed to think in weird ways that you've never given yourself permission to think before. And it's like it truly was like one of the beginning building blocks of me looking at myself from a different perspective. And so I totally understand what he's saying there.
And within 45 minutes, I swear to you, I could feel the neurons wiring themselves back together where the damage was. And the other most important thing I learned about was something called beetroot powder.
I haven't done anything with this yet either.
Improves blood flow. It's high in stuff called nitrites, which our body converts down into nitric oxide and helps our blood flow all over our body, including the brain. And beets are packed with antioxidants, and one of them is called betalins.
I just think of Dwight Schrute every time I see the beets.
And these help protect brain cells from oxidative stress that we talked about. So all throughout this journey, I poured through thousands of research papers and scientific data, and I found one thing all the time that seriously shook me up. The further a creature is removed from their natural environment, the more they suffer disease. And this isn't just humans, it's all creatures.
And once you kind of realize what Darius is telling us is that our home is there, that this is an experience to experience what we are not. And now that we're in this experience, we're chasing the wrong idea of life. It makes sense why there's so many people that are depressed, that feel like they're off their path, because we are not in alignment with where we should be and what we should be doing.
As a behavioral expert, I started to understand this in a profound way that shook me to my core. Our ancestors passed down a lot to us: fears and instincts, behavioral patterns, wisdom, and lots of neurological wiring to keep us alive. And I realized that the lower part of our brain is like an ancestor living inside of us. And when we spend time in nature, that part of the brain starts thriving like crazy. It's like an ancestor is there in your head, and showing them a bunch of shopping malls and freeways is really confusing to them. They don't know what that is. And this is the way that I look at it anyway. We don't thrive in nature. We are nature. We're not meant to be away from it for long, if ever. And this is why disease is so prevalent in people who don't spend a lot of time in nature. Disease thrives in artificial environments, whether you're a whale living in captivity or a human in a city.
And they are creating everything to be an artificial.
This will be a whole different video coming soon, but let me sum it up for you. Distance from descendants is disease. When we become disconnected from our roots, our heritage, and the natural ways of life that our ancestors would recognize, it leads to various forms of illness and dysfunction, physical and psychological. So I was all in, and Michelle was all in too. We wanted our kids to have nonstop exposure to nature. We sold our house immediately, and we moved into
I would like to do this.
No more faking it. No more brain disease, at least so far. It's been 9 months. If you're wanting a few details about what I'm doing, I'm going to add a ton of research for you down in the description, and a link to Dr. John's YouTube videos that seriously changed my life. And if you can get your fingers ready, I'm going to put my full neurology protocol on the screen right here so that you can screenshot the whole thing in 3, 2, 1, now.
There you go. Pause it for you for a second, because he doesn't make it last very long. That's a lot of stuff. I don't do all this at the moment. I just started with the first one, the methylene blue. So I'm a little further behind. But at least I feel so much better already. It's only been a couple days now. It could be the placebo effect, yes. But I really do feel something.
So it's been 9 months. So far, things look very promising, and I think I found a way to actually save my brain. If I had taken that first prescription, not a single neuron would have been healed. No damage would have been repaired, and there was no way to tell if my brain would continue to just fail and fall apart. None of this is medical advice. I'm not a doctor, but I hope this might enable you to possibly change someone's life that you know. My brain might go back. I might go right back to seizures any day. It's possible, I imagine. And I might forget who I am and who my family is. But for the meantime, I genuinely believe that we have found a miracle. And this is what I'm calling it. It is a miracle. And this means we can all be a miracle for somebody in some way. The universe isn't out there. You are part of it. The molecules that make up your body have been here for millions of years. Our lives are insanely short, and nobody really knows the meaning of life or why we're even here for sure. And I've been on 9 deployments. I've seen the worst the world has to offer. And with my tiny peephole view of life, I can tell you that there is no benefit to pessimism. Pessimism and judgment are more toxic than almost anything you can think of.
Yes. Get rid of the pessimism. You got to be more optimistic. Something good's coming your way. And stop with the judgment. Let people do as they want to do, to a degree, obviously. But the judgment, we don't have any judgment on the other side.
But let me leave you with one of the most important lessons I've ever learned in my life. And this is to choose to live with compassion and relentless curiosity. And if you subscribe, I promise you'll enjoy the videos we have coming up. Thank you for joining me, and I hope this video has saved somebody going through neurodegenerative disease or brain disease or all kinds of different diseases. And I hope you will use it to talk to your doctor and save somebody's life. As always, we rise by lifting others. Thanks for joining me in this video, and thanks for supporting me. Take care.
So that's Chase Hughes, and I really like this guy. Yeah, he is still trying to figure the truth of this whole reality out, yes, but he's got a really good grip on the psychological warfare within this world, and he's not scared to talk about it. So, you know, whether it's parents that might be having dementia or early stages of it that you want to get this in front of to help, maybe you have some traumatic brain thing going on too that you want to fix. Maybe you just want your energy levels up. Maybe you just want to feel a little bit better. You want to get out of this depression. You want to feel like yourself again. I would recommend trying to give this a try. You know, the way each drop is 0.5 milligrams. So he said he takes 10 milligrams, I believe. So that would be like 20 drops. I only did a couple drops. I've only done like three or four drops, because I don't want to stain my teeth blue. And if you get it on your skin, it's going to stay there for a while. So you want to be very careful with it. But man, I'll keep you updated. I think we're all just trying to understand the truth, and we're trying to live a better life, and we're trying to feel better while we're doing it. So if you're on my channel, that's why I put this here. I want to help you, and I hope it does. So leave any comments of you trying it helping with anything. So yeah, appreciate you spending some time here today. Talk to you later, guys.
Peace.